Welcome back and welcome front, my friends. In today's video, we're going to transform the JGM Combaticons squad into their alt modes and also Bruticus. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to start our journey with Swindle, and I just wanted to say hello, and welcome. Especially if this is your first time joining us, well, it's your first time joining us then. I won't do a full-on articulation display or anything like that, but you'll be able to figure it out as I transform him. I will call out a couple of things like this. His shoulder is capable of moving forward very easily, but I cannot for the life of me get it to move back. I was having a discussion with channel member Jeremiah Koenig about this, and he told me that the shoulders can pull out, and you can see those little kind of these bits right over here, the light kind of gray nubs. I have been unable to do that, but I have seen pics, so I'm pretty sure that you can, but I just cannot on my copy. Okay, so without further ado, yeah, let's just kind of jump into it. He is so well done. I really enjoyed this set. And one of the things that you're going to see in terms of design language is a really clever use of this chest over here and the way the arms, they kind of work, like how they kind of collapse, fists spinning and stuff folding out like this. This is going to be a common feature that you're going to see speckled throughout the entire set. Same thing for stuff like this. This opening up, the leg collapsing, closing, and these things, the seats of the Jeep acting as kneecaps and also as fasteners. That is just brilliant. Such economic and great use of space. And you're going to see a lot of that. And so that's kind of like the consistent design language that I've been talking about in the shorts. Dinobots have their own type of language. The Predacons have their own type of language. And these are the other combiners that JGM has put out. And these guys certainly have their own as well. Oh, really cool thing about both Swindle and Brawl is the way the head transforms. And so this is going to open up and it's going to become the hood of the Jeep. But if you did want to, you can actually have the face deployed in the Jeep mode as well, which I think is really quite hilarious. But for the time being, yeah, we'll just kind of focus on what's necessary for the Jeep mode. And so we will untab the chest like this, and we will kind of spin this around. Some of the tolerances are a little bit tight, so you might see me struggling with certain areas here and there, but for the most part, I will say that it's pretty good. And yeah, it's been kind of a long while since I have put out these long form videos, but just, man, work has been a doozy. And I mean that in a good way, you know? Lots of exciting things have happened recently. Like, I promised that I'd talk about it, and so here, I'll talk about it just a little bit here. My partners and I, we have engaged in something called a MBO, which is a management buyout. And that means the company, the parent company that we used to all work for, we purchased the company that where we are currently employed. So it's almost like, let's say, imagine you go to a school, but you're able to buy out your classroom from the school district or the principal or something like that so that you can operate it and run the class in the way that you wanted. And so, yeah, that's what we have effectively done. And so I'm kind of co-owner to the company right now. And there's a lot of work basically kind of figuring all of this out. And so that's where a lot of my attention has gone. And yeah, so this is not my typical 9 to 5. Some folks are kind of surprised. They're like, yo, I thought this is your full-time gig. And no, it certainly is not. And by the way, the feet, really clever how they plugged into the waist over there. This, really clever how this tire, you can see those little tabs right there are actually plugging into the feet. Just beautiful economy of space and just brilliant use and of recycling of parts and just a really great design philosophy overall. And this is pretty much the Jeep. Beautiful, isn't it? And so we can now flip the head over if you want it, and that is a really cool look. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, it's been a lot of work just kind of getting the company set up. It's not that the company didn't exist before, but now that we're independent and we're no longer tethered to the mothership, so to speak, yeah, it's kind of, it's exciting, but there's also, it's very risky, right? Imagine being tied to like a giant ship before. So if your little boat was going under, you could still be tethered and pulled by the mothership. But now we're on the open seas on our own, you know? Every decision, it really makes an impact. Every dollar, every cent, all the time that we spend makes a tremendous impact. But anyway, so that's kind of a little bit of the backstory of why I've been so busy and absent on the channel as of late, and so I hope you understand. So beautiful Jeep mode, isn't it? The tires, they roll really well, cleans up very nice, and other than the spine that you kind of see threading through itself on the Jeep, I think it's really quite beautiful. Could this be a little tidied up a little more, less gaps and spaces? Sure, but at the same time, it's not hateful and super forgivable in my opinion. So anyway, what is it? The path to get him to the leg mode is really quite direct, and so why don't we do that right now? Hey, really quick with a commercial break from our sponsor, TFSafari, TFSafari.com. Check them out for all of your mecha needs from first, second, third, fourth party. They also do upgrades as well. You're not going to find a lot of sites that cater to different tastes and needs. TFSafari.com. And if you do go there, utilize the codes that you see on the top right corner of the screen and save yourself a little bit of change, main. They are a very reliable vendor. They are out of China. They ship to you in about 2 weeks, super sturdy boxes. And yeah, TFSafari.com. Can't say enough nice things about them. And so thank you so much, TFSafari, for sponsoring this video. Okay, cool. So now I've taken a little bit of a breather. I have cleared my head so that I can refocus on this. And if you're wondering why I am neurodivergent, I have ADHD, I have a little bit of autism as well. And so sometimes my mental stack, I just need to clear the cache, so to speak. And so now I'm kind of centered in a good place. And so let's get this going one more time. So we're going to start this by popping this up, and then we're going to pull this up, and we are going to spin this mechanism. You might encounter some collision over here, so you want to hold these bits down as you do the spin, and then you can kind of keep this up. Sorry, you know what? You can bring that down, and this is really cool. That little tab right there, that's going to or slot, excuse me, that's going to connect with that piece by the tire. It's a nice little solid connection. I can appreciate that. And over here, now we're going to take the head and we're going to bring this all the way down. What's going to happen is, oh, sorry, you got to open up the neck. Or open up the face. You see that little tab right there? That's going to slot in right there. So just got to get the alignment right because the head is a bit tight. There we go. There we go. And now it's in there. Jer, Sunny, and Share. That's cool. Cleans up very, very nice. For the arms, we're going to actually bring this out and we're going to bring the fists in. We will bring this forward and then push that in like that. And now it's still kind of flush over here. And so that's cool, right? One more time. We pop this out. We bring this in. We turn that. And then we spin it. By the way, I'm going in the order of a complexity. But you know what? If we're going to go in order of complexity, I should have went with Brawl. Brawl's the easiest. Then it's Swindle. The arm guys get a little bit tricky, and then finally Onslaught at the end, and then we can form Bruticus afterward. Okay, so right over here, the only thing that's left to do is slip on his shoes, a la Cinderella style. There we go. And if you want, you can kind of point the feet down. If you want to hide the gap over here, and you can see it's kind of resting right there, and that is the foot. It is on a ball joint, so you have a full 360 motion where when it's not impeded by the toy itself, and pretty easy peasy wheezy. I wish this did store somewhere. I mean, you could try to kind of jerry rig it, whatever, but at the same time, this is going to be used to make the super cannon, and so I'll show you that at the end. So anyway, that has been Swindle in all of his glory. Let's move on to Mr. Brawl. Alrighty, and here's Mr. Brawl. And you know what's funny is that I'm Korean American, and Brawl in Korean means something. You know what? I won't say it. Sorry for leaving you on a cliffhanger, but I won't say it. You can ask your Korean friends if you have one. This guy, same thing. Shoulders can move forward. Can't get it to go back. But that's just me. I've seen pictures where other people have been able to arc it back. I cannot do that. And so that's fine. I'm willing to just kind of live with that. But the same design philosophy over here. We spin, we bring out the treads, and then we bring out this bit. You know, let me open up the tread first. We're going to open up that the side bit, and then we're going to collapse that. We'll spin the fist around so that the green is on the outside. It isn't a perfect match, but whatever, dude. It's good enough. Same thing over here. We're going to spin the fist, bring out the treads. Ow. Bring out the treads, then open up that top part of the tank, spin that around, and then collapse. Neato, right? Very, very similar to what we saw with Swindle. This is not going to do anything, at least for the time being. And then what we can do is we can dislodge the chest. The arm guys, it is not on a, oh, actually, I think it is on a double hinge, but the way the arm guy's chest works, it's going to be a little bit different. It is still a locking mechanism, but it locks in the elbow in place. And so similar mechanism, but the utilization is different. And so again, I can just really respect all the work that they are doing over here. Similar to Swindle, we're going to flip that around. Same thing over here, right? Now you can kind of see what I was talking about, right? With that through line, the architectural through line, so to speak, in terms of how these guys are designed and how they transform. And this, I think it folds up. Yes. Folds up like so. And then from here, we can kind of combiner wars their legs up. And as you bring this down, that bit has to slip behind here like that. Cool, right? And we'll do that one more time. We'll kind of accordion this up and then get that in there. And then bring this down and make sure that sits behind there. The only thing that I wish was improved about this was I wish the legs could tab in together. There are no mechanisms. A very simple tab and slot would have done the job, but it's not present there. And so I'll take a couple of points off, or just a tiny, tiny fraction of a point. But yeah, that would have been nice if this could adhere together natively without any extra work. And then from here, you know what? I'm sorry. I had this wrong. These are supposed to be down in robot mode, but I do like the kneecap, so I kept them up. And now those tabs that you see under the turret will tab in like so. And there's your little tank, Hank. Pretty cool, huh? Nice. And you can do the same thing as Swindle. If you wanted, you could bring the face up and like, hey, what's going on? Oh, that's kind of cool too. Almost like there's some type of shield in front of him. Huh, didn't notice that before. So we can do that. I do wish this kind of plugged in over here, because I think the original G1, it either does that or it goes somewhere else. It would have been nice if this could store in alt mode, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. But similar to Swindle, I'm going to have to take a quick break and just kind of clear my cache, so to speak. But very similar to Swindle in that, like, he cleans up very, very nicely. I love the articulation that they provided in the turret. I love the way this clamps down and plugs into place. I love the little playfulness that we have with the head. And yeah, overall, a very, very nice and solid version of a SD mini chibi Brawl. Leg mode coming up. Okay, cool. Let's start on the leg mode. We can flip the legs up like this. He's the easiest one to transform into his limb mode. Same thing as Swindle. That little tab is going to go into that slot. Right? Yeah, that squeakiness. Oof, it's tight. Reminds me of Fans Toys. But you just got to adjust it a little bit so that you can tab it in there. And that is good, Sonny and Cher. Then we'll do this. And you guys are like, who? Don't worry about it. Then we're going to do this. And bring that forward. And then bring that down to lock into place. Ace. And there you go. That's pretty much it. And then we need to do the Cinderella treatment. Slip that on, Sean. And there we go. There we go. There we go, Joe. That's nice, isn't it? I really like that. I really like that. Originally, I thought the fists potentially were supposed to hide, similar to what Swindle did, but there isn't any clearance there. And so this is the leg in its entirety. Now, let me show you Swindle. And excuse me, I'm kind of losing my voice right now. I may have to go drink something really quick. I like this. I like having these little square buttons on the back over there. That's so cool. The way these lock in are nice. The consistency and the way the arms transform. That's great, isn't it? The way this stuff locks in and just, yeah, like you get that feeling that they're brothers, you know, they're from the same manufacturer. And they kind of are. They kind of are brothers too, or at least teammates to some extent. And so this has been the lower half of Bruticus, the legs. And now let's move on to the arms. Oh, I'm feeling so nervous. Oh, let's go. All right, now to spin and tickle your cerebral cortex, we have Mr. Vortex, and we're going to start by removing his blasters. And this guy doesn't have any type of real, you know, like articulation impediments or anything like that. I would say his biggest challenge is that this bit right over here is pretty tight, that little joint right there. And you know what, I don't have my spudger with me, and hopefully we're going to be able to get it out without any issues. But yeah, he's really, really nice. And one of the cool things about him is, dude, I love, love, love the way the head transforms. In the entirety of the Transformers fandom and from Vortex lovers all across the world, we know that this bit, the head transforming to the back of the helicopter, has never, ever, ever been done. And so I applaud JGM for just kind of taking risks and doing something novel. By the way, this thing, you will have some clearances over here. And so once that happens, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just try to stretch this out as far as you can, just so that you can navigate that, just like so. And I'm kind of losing my voice right now. I'm not really sure. I got this weird frog in my throat. One of the things about the arm bots is they're a little bit more sophisticated and complex to transform than the leg ones. And so you might see me getting kind of hung up on that. And so I will apologize in advance, but look at that. That is so cool, right? This bit is really interesting in that this will also move around and spin 90 degrees to give you more clearance, because when we're working with such tight constraints in small real estate, you need every bit of space and angles and degrees that you can work with, and so I can appreciate that. The locking mechanism here is the chest, and we'll kind of undo that and bring that out. And this is a bit that you're going to see somewhat shared in Blastoff as well. And so as this comes up, this will spin around, and this is not the section that I'm talking about. It's the arm. What you're going to do is the arm is going to come up, and as it moves over here, you're going to spin it about, I don't know if that was 90 degrees, but you saw what I did, right? That's the same thing over here. We'll just kind of poke this out, spin this, bring this up, and as that's happening, we will turn it around. You know what? That came undone. Cool. So now we have these facing each other, and then we can put the thrusters and have them pointing backward like that. And the arms, these will extend and they will spin around. And this will lock in place over here, excuse me. But we'll do that at the end. Once again, spin, oops, and then just kind of pull the forearm bit out, the sleeve, so to speak, like that. And you know what? I'm really hungry right now. I should have eaten something. Oh, and you can see the elbow joint coming undone over here. What's really cool is you see that space. Excuse me. These bits will actually lock that into place later, and you're like, how is that going to happen? And I can't wait to show you. But for the time being, let's just focus on the copter mode. The foot will come out like this. This will come down, and yeah, that'll remain like so. Like that, and that will yank out, and you can see that's the side of the heli. That's cool, right? We'll untab these for the time being. These are locking mechanisms, and so now, okay. So when you pull this out initially, it will be in the correct orientation of the helicopter nose. But in order to flip this around and get the proper clearance, what you got to do is you got to spin this around so that the this stripe is parallel to the thigh, and that will allow you to flip this all the way around and then compress it back like that, Matt. Not bad, right? And then you can bring this down, and then you can resituate the nose like this. Huh, that wasn't that bad. One more time. We will we'll bring out the nose bit over here, and then we will spin this around so that the stripe is parallel to the thigh. Then we will flip this around, compress this, bring this together, readjust the nose, get everything in place. Nice. And then we'll kind of keep that out. And now I believe we can lock all of that in place. And then from here, we'll push this forward 90 degrees. Dude, I'm kind of surprised how fluidly this is working. Honestly, I was a bit trepidatious and worried, and I'm quite anxiety prone. And I was worrying about this, but oh my goodness. Thank you, bud. I appreciate that. And then you can do that. And then we can grab the side bits, and you can plug them in. I'm trying to do a better job of bringing this closer to the camera like that, because I've been kind of doing it over here, and I know he looks tiny, and there's way more real estate when it's like, there's a lot more real estate to work with, but yeah. And what I really like is that the rotors, woo, look at that. I love how they spin so fluidly once you get the right angle. Like, very cool. Very cool. But yeah, this is him. Again, it cleans up really nice, feels similar to the other guys. Not like siblings necessarily compared to the leg bots, but more like a cousin. But now when we introduce Vortex, he's definitely going to feel like a sibling versus less than a cousin. But now we're going to convert him into the arm mode, and I hope I get it right. Let's go. I am back, and I'm armed with my trusty spudger, because this bit right over here, this dark gray kind of black bit, is hard to... There's nothing to really get under the lip, and like I said, I just cut my nails recently. So there we go. There we go. So we're going to have to undo that, because that is actually locking this bit in place. And as I do this, Did I mention that people, did I mention to you guys that people were harassing me over the Swindle video? I did a parody of a song called Mr. Wendell. I feel like I mentioned this, but maybe it was something else. But I did a parody of a song called Mr. Wendell by a group called Arrested Development. And somebody told me that because they called me a white man, they said that I was appropriating this song by a black man. And I was like, first of all, I'm not white. And like, why does it have to be music by a black, white, yellow man or whatever? Why can't it just be music? I think it's really that individual just kind of projecting and stuff. And so I just ignored it. But yeah, man, somebody else called me a fraud for doing the song. And I was like, oh, what are people talking about, dude? Internet's a weird place at times, man. But as you can see, what I'm doing over here is I'm actually undoing the things that I just did a second ago, because we do have to return the legs back into their native state, excuse me, like when they were in bot mode, because that's how we get the full length of the arm, right? So one more time, we're just going to bring all of that out, and we will focus on the legs in a little bit. What I do want to focus on right now is getting clearance and moving this out of the way, because this is the elbow joint over here. And now I'm going to just bring the legs all the way out so that I can free this up. Goodness. And now the chest. This is one of the coolest parts about the set, in my opinion. The robot chest, you're going to flip down. You're going to flip that all the way in here. You're like, what? I mean, I know. That's what I said too. All right, maybe you didn't say that, but that's what I said. And then you're going to bring that down, and that cavity that houses the mushroom peg or whatever joint you call that, line this up properly, and it will sit in there. There you go. That is just a brilliant piece of engineering. Just remarkable. It's something so simple, but yet so effective, and it holds that bugger in place. And so, again, I can really, really appreciate that. I think I can bring this down at this point, and I can return this like so. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up, and we are going to collapse the legs. Oh, these have to return back into their space. And so one more time, we're just going to do that. Bring this here, but we got to orient this in the proper way. And the proper way is to have this kind of, oh, excuse me, let me just bring this up closer to the camera, is to get this to basically have the flat side on the same flat side. And that will kind of guide you. Just bring this out of the way to get clearance, spin this around, then move that all the way up in there like so. And again, once again, I apologize for not having this in the camera. We're going to collapse that. Then we're going to close this up. And there are locking mechanisms here, this tab and this slot that you can see right there. So it'll help guide you. Bring that up and tab it in. And you can kind of close these together. And then what's going to happen over here is this, it has a double hinge on it. And so we're going to bring it out. Oh, you know what? You do have to bring out the toe. Cool. And then you're going to bring the tire up, and that's going to double hinge to the side. One more time, we're going to bring out the toe, fold up the tire, double hinge that out, and you can bring these together. And then from here, ooh, how do we do this? Well, you can close that again. And I think this just slides on. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing it right, but just got to get the spacing perfect. Or is it like that? Okay, it is like that. Haha. It's like that. And then from here, because that's going to be the shoulder connection, you see that's the elbow. And so you can bring this. Oh, that is the one thing I will say. All the other ones, the limb bits are very tight in terms of their connection, but Vortex it's not as tight. Yeah. Anyway, you do that. And so now we recognize that the elbow joint is right there. Then we're going to spin that. And there we go. That's a good looking hand too. All independently, what's the word I'm looking for? They can move independently. There's a word. All independently, whatever. But yeah, nice, right? Nice, 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 nice. And cool. And that is the arm. And if you wanted to, you can mount these back up. I'm not going to lie, my brain is still trying to think of that word. Independently indexed? Or I'm making it up. You could have it pointing up, you could have it pointing down. Doesn't really matter. The main one doesn't go anywhere here, but like I said, it does combine into the Super Blaster. And so we can take a look at that. But yeah, this is, oh, you can kind of bring this bit down. And then you can lock this in place again. Totally forgot about that. There we go. Now we have the arm. Neato completo, right? Cool. Cool tools. Let's move on to Mr. Blastoff, and then we'll finish up with Onslaught, and then we'll put them all together, okay? All right, here we are with Mr. Blastoff, and I was away for quite some time, actually. My mental stack was just overwhelming me, and so I needed a breather. But yeah, ready to transform him now. I will say one of the things I do want to call out is like the legs, the knee joints are incredibly tight, and oftentimes the hips, the ball joints will kind of pop off. Sorry, I didn't mean to flash you guys like that. It will pop off while I'm transforming him, and so just kind of keep that in mind as we do the conversion. The head is really neat the way it transforms. It's probably, I don't know if it's more involved than Vortex, but it has its own kind of unique things about it. So yeah, look at that. Look what's happening right over here. Like stuff is folding out, ears are coming out, and like, yeah, it's straight nuts. And you can see that that's become the top of the shuttle. Isn't that so much fun? It's so cool. I just love the unique approaches, and that's why like Mecha Invasion, I'm a big fan of those guys. Like they're not even just thinking outside the box; they're straight making their own box, so to speak. You know what I mean? And so I can really appreciate the things that just creative designers do, taking risks. Because a lot of times in the world of business, you're just kind of making the same stuff. You know what I mean? Just because, yeah, because what if people don't like it? You spend all this time and effort and money in doing it, and so people try to play it safe. But nah, MMC's different. These cats are different. Mecha Invasion's different. I mean, everybody's doing a little something different, but still, though, I can really appreciate the unique approach that these cats are taking. And so, okay, so over here, I do believe the waist will spin around. And this is going to be similar to Vortex in that this will come up and the arm will fold out. And as it's folding out, it will naturally kind of just do this. And all that's left is to just fold the fist. And that's kind of cool, man. Not too much effort. As you're folding this out, you fold this bit out and it will naturally just kind of contour in there like that. And like I said, the more important thing is just to get the fist oriented properly. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lift this nose cone up a bit and you're going to slot this all under here. And then you're going to close that up like that. That's fun. That's really cool. And you can see, again, also the elbow joint kind of becoming loose over here. And this will later on do the same thing that Vortex's did, but it's much larger in terms of real estate. But nonetheless, also very, very cool. I don't know if I can close this right now or if I have to do that later. Why don't we just try right now? And if I have to undo it, then so be it. I will undo it. Same thing over here, where we open up the leg. The way that this fastens is really unique. You see that little tab right there? That's doing a lot of work. It's going to fasten into that space. Whereas in shuttle mode, it's going to tab into that space, and in arm mode, it's going to tab into that space, and really quite unique. You can see that some of the paint has rubbed off over here because there's not a ton of clearance as this kind of compacts into this. And as you're opening this up, what you want to do is you want to spin this and then bring that down like so. And then we can spin that toe bit around. One more time, we'll crack this open. We'll get this spun around. And then we'll do that. Cool. And then from here, this actually has this kind of elevator telescoping motion, but that's not what we need to do. What we need to do is actually have it bend and hinge on that joint right there. But as I mentioned, it is incredibly tight, way tighter than I think it needs to be. And so this is what I was talking about, because you're putting so much force on this thing, it likes to pop out. But even with it out of the joint, it's because not only are you manipulating the knee, you're also manipulating that telescoping joint. There you go. That took a lot of force, way more than I normally would like to exert on a toy. And then that will fasten in there in just a second. Let's see if we can do this one without the leg popping off. No guarantees, but I will try. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can appreciate the work on the tolerances that they've done. But boy, that's a tight fit. And I think we got it, actually. And these, they do tab in together. And so I'm glad they made that change. So as you can see, it's not fully closing because it's not fully compact. Got to really, really get it. There we go. Ah. All right, man. Oh, I'm getting frustrated. Oh, see, okay, you see this little bit over here? That's a little nub that pops out and you're like, hey, it won't go back. And yeah, it's because there's like an order of operation. You have to get it flush first. And so maybe I might need to open this up. There you go. You got to get that flush first before you close that all up. Give me a second. Oh my goodness, I'm melting down. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, one of those things, like one thing goes wrong, like the way my brain works, like a Jenga tower. One thing goes wrong and my nervous system starts to collapse. And so I got to be mindful of that. There we go. And so that's what it'll look like when it's all properly done. But boy, that's a challenge, man. That's a challenge to get everything in there. I just wish the tolerances were a little bit more forgiving. Let me try to get this one in there and compress it all the way. If I'm not careful, dude, I'm gonna crap my pants, dude. I'm exerting all this force, like, ugh! Take a dump, dude. My wife was like, yo, she's like, dude, she's like, I swear often, like, you make all these references to taking a dump in your pants. She's like, why do you always talk about that? And I was like, yo, it's because it's like relatable on a universal level. And she was kind of quiet. And I was like, what? You never taken a dump in your pants? And she was quiet. I was like, ha! Okay, this has to close up. Oh, there we go. That was tight. That was a tight fit. That's the shuttle mode. Arguably, this one was not difficult, but the tolerances on the knees just make this oof, oof, oof. All right. I was like, hey, you want me to tell you a story about a time that I took a dump? I have stories like that. But I won't necessarily share it on this video. So anyway, shuttle mode. Cool, right? Again, I do wish that there was blaster storage somewhere. That's not doing anything. I guess you could fake it and do that, but nah, no meaningful blaster storage. It looks beautiful, nice and compact, very, very cool. And now we're going to get him into his arm mode. Undoing this is going to be pretty tough. So once again, let me take a quick breather and we can return to this. Okay, here we go, Joe. And you know, similar to Vortex, a portion of this is returning it back to its kind of robot state. And so I'm going to be doing that. So we start by bringing these up. We can unlock this right now, I guess. And then you can bring this down. I don't know why. It's just my favorite piece, dude. It's my favorite piece about the transformation. I think it's so clever. It's so novel and unique. And these things will fold into that cavity. You just got to make sure that elbow joint orientation is correct. Otherwise, it will not be able to seat itself. And there are a lot of hinges going on over here. So it's just a matter of lining things up and getting everything right. There we go. There we go. Great, 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 great. Now both sides are in. Okay. You can see how compact everything is in here right now, right? And this is what we have to undo. Oh, okay. That one came out rather easily. Okay. Oh, that wasn't that bad. Oh, alrighty. And then from here, what's going to happen is we're going to bring that down like this. And then we're going to close this up. And now that's going to tab into this lower slot like that. Got to make sure the wings, what when this is open up, because there's a friction point over here, when these are opened up, that's when you need to bend the wings in like that. Now we can get that too. Come on. That one seems to be in there. Oh, you know what? There's one other thing that I forgot to do. We've got to reorient this. Yeah, you got to reorient this, and you got to bring this up. That's right. That's right. Like that, Matt. One more time. We'll close this up. Got that? Got that? Oh, hi, look at that. I think we got it. I think we got it. No, it's not fully tabbed in. I don't know, man. For the sake of this demonstration, I feel like I'm just going to let it go for the time being because it's not hurting anybody. And then from here, we are going to slip on the fist. And then we're going to open that up like this. And what's going on? Oh, no, this is the right arm. So we need to spin the elbow joint, then spin the forearm, and get it like that. There you go. There you go, Joe. And we're good. And we're good. That wasn't that bad. And we can see how it compares over here. Very similar in structure. And that's going to be the area that slots into Mr. Onslaught. Fists, hands look good. I mean, the fingers, like his fingers feel great. They're real. That kind of sounded funny. The plastic and the way that they're posable, it's great. It's very, very satisfying. And so cool. These are the arms. They look like a nice pair. And then we have the legs. And those look like a nice pair as well. And so finally, let's move on to Mr. Onslaught. All right, we have the leader of the pack. And, you know, I was going to say, the toy version of Onslaught, the blue is much, much darker. It's like a dark, rich navy, whereas this is more like a UCLA kind of Bruin baby blue color, so to speak. But in the cartoon, he kind of does have this color. And so folks were like, no, he's supposed to be darker. And other folks were like, no, this color is just right. I think he's somewhere right in the middle. And so, yeah, without further ado, let's get to him. So we'll pop the blaster off. This bit will, this will come down, this will open up, the forearm will fold in, and then the fist will compact like that. And I think that's just very, very neat. And then we'll just kind of leave that for the time being. I think there's going to be a couple of more areas where it's supposed to spin and twist and whatnot, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And we can fold up the fist, and then we can compress the forearm. I don't think it's meant to close. I think it's meant to be, yeah, it's supposed to be out like that. We'll kind of dislodge this, kind of bring this down. The head will hide in there like so. And this will start to come down, excuse me. And then we can see the nose of the truck. Hey, it's kind of coming together, dude. And that's cool. And so this will come out like that. And I just pinched my finger, and that hurt a lot. And then you can just fold out like that. And then bring that up, orient this so that it's like that. You know, I was going to say that word oriental, I guess it's not allowed anymore, or like people find it offensive. What's funny is though, my parents still use that word. They're like, yeah, because we're oriental. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care about that word. Oriental, Asian, I don't know, it's all the same thing to me. But yeah, apparently you're not supposed to use that word. Oh, I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to remember which side is up. I'm pretty sure this is the bottom. And I think, oh yeah, there we go. That's right. He has this bit. This will all kind of cascade out over here. And this will move up. That's right. That's right, Rainbow Bright. I see it, I see it. But before we do that, there's a component on the legs. The legs are really well designed. However, there's this one part that kind of gets me. And so the heel supports over here, these do double duty. They're actually the kneecaps as well, and they're hidden inside, and they flex out when you bend the leg, which I think is very, very neat. But right now what you need to do is you need to flip these over 180 degrees. And so we're going to start by opening these things up, and we want to give it more clearance. And so we're going to have to manipulate this blue thing out of the way, or bring the black thing up, and then spin that. Right? It's kind of bring this up, and we're separating it from this housing. And then we are going to, cool. We're going to do that. And so now what's going to be happening here is, and I'm not sure if I need to, I don't think I need to spin the waist. I think it's like this. But what's going to happen is this is going to, yes. Okay. So this heel is going to move up while this blue piece also rotates. What? Hold on for a second. All right, I got one side done, and I remembered why I disliked it so much. So you got to thread this piece through this gap while you are spinning this entire blue piece around, but the clearance here is really, really quite tight, and my brain has not quite learned how to negotiate this space fluidly. I think we got it though. Okay. I'm going to thank you guys for that, because to be honest, what's really strange is that a lot of times when I do these things on camera, I have difficulty, but then when I'm presenting it to you all, I don't know, something takes over, and a lot of times things are improved, and I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, look at that. I think this black thing has to be straightened up a little bit more, so just give me a moment. I think that's it. And now we can put this stuff together. And now we can put the foot down. And now we can get the arms in as I'm breathing a sigh of relief. Oh wait, hold up. Hold up for a second. I have something on the stove. Oh my goodness. I was boiling water, and dude, there's no water there because it just, all the water evaporated basically. I'm horrible about stuff like that. I'm so forgetful when it comes to things like, thank goodness for my wife, because she's always the one. She's like, bro, she's like, you got water boiling. I was like, oh, right. But she's not around right now. She's at a retreat. And so glad I didn't burn the house down, because that would have definitely been a fight. I think this is it. Huh? It's a good looking truck, ain't it? And it's too bad, again, in alt mode, there's no blaster storage. Yeah, why? Why not? It could have just been right there or something, you know? Why not? But the bottom, for what it's worth, cleans up really well. You can see the combiner waist. The actual robot waist is present here. We got the chest, the head, the hood of the car, and how the arms just kind of unfolded to become the sides and everything. That's really neat. I can appreciate that. And the legs, yeah, it tripped me up a little bit, but we got through it. The unfortunate part is that, actually, you know what? I don't think we need to return this back to the way it, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, let's get him into, excuse me, let's get him into torso mode. I'm going to get a drink of water, and then afterwards we can do the Bruticus combination sequence. All right, let's do it. I'm not going to lie, this one kind of trips me up to the conversion sequence over here. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. What's really important is that, where is it? You see this gap left by the elbow? It's very important that that piece, why is it doing this? That piece remains up top, because that is where the combiner bit is going to attach. And I think this is it. And that's my North Star in terms of what I'm letting guide me. And yeah, one more time. I think that's it. Yeah. Let me just do a quick test fitting. Yeah, I think that's it. If not, I'm going to be quite embarrassed and I'm going to cry. But for the time being, that's fine. Then we'll close this all up again. It's either like that, or it's either like this. So sorry, maybe it wasn't that elbow. It was this cavity in the elbow that I was referring to. But so far so good. And then we can get this collapsed. How do we do that? And this will tab in right over here. And you can untab it later in Bruticus mode to give him a bit of an ab crunch. But for the time being, let's just get that situated. I think this needs to be out for a second. Yeah. There we go. There we go. And that's going to allow everything to compress together, Heather. If I can just see that tab in there. Okay. We can do this. Then we can bring this out. Oh yeah, I think that's it. And then these, you'll kind of do that. Okay. I think this is it. I think this is it. Well, we're going to know in a second. We're going to know right now, actually. And so if I've done things right, this should plug in here properly. But because it's not, I may not have. Hold on, let me do this off camera. Okay, I was just trying to verify if this was on the correct way, and it is. And that little bit, oops, not trying to flip you off. That bit will sink in here, and those two bits will sink in there. There you go. I just needed to get everything aligned, and we're good. We're good. And when I look at him like this, dude, he kind of reminds me of Hotspot. You know what I mean? Of Protect-A-Bot fame because of the light blue and also the way the chest works. And I could easily see this being retooled into Hotspot. We got the ladder formation thing over here, blades as Vortex, one of the vehicles as Swindle. And so, yeah, I could see them retooling this into that. So right now we have a couple of options. We have the toy version chest that we can use right there. That looks nice. But to be honest, I actually like the Toon version where it looks like the wings are borrowed from Blastoff, and we can affix that on there nice and tight, and that will secure everything else in place. And you can see that little contour there fitting snugly against the chassis. And so that's nice. And like I said, if you undo this, yeah, you can give them a, hey, what's going on? What's going on over there? You can get them to look down, but otherwise it is meant to tap into place. Well, it's meant to, but it's not anymore. That's nice. That's great. I'm not going to spend too much time doing that, right? All right. All right, I lied. I do want to work this out because it's bothering me. Whatever, dude. One second. All right, I got it. Sorry about that. Dude, stuff like that will just throw me off, dude. It'll make me melt down. Okay, so now this part has been revealed, and you can see Onslaught's heel peeking through over here. You know what? I'm just going to attach this. So you got to move the tire, turn it ever so slightly, and then from there, we can slide this into the channel. And then this is what I was talking about. Neat, huh? Very, very, very cool. And so we can do that. One leg in. You know what? I'm going to adjust the camera. One second. Okay, cool. And now we're going to grab Brawl, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to, oops, got to move this out of the way. We're going to give him a Cinderella moment, part 2. There we go. Bring that out. Looking good, huh? Looking good. And then we can adjust the ankles. Then we can adjust the tires like that. And then from here, it's just a matter of slipping the remainder of the squad on. His arms are way more posable and better articulated than the legs are. Even though the knees are cool, the thighs, there's not much you can do because you can see, where's my spudger? You can see this section over here, there's not a lot. If you were to somehow remove the toe, you could get more forward motion. And even if you lift this up, it just, you don't get a lot. You see what just happened, right? And so that's kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, dude, I'm not doing, you know, kung fu fighting with this fool, so whatever. He's just gonna be on the shelf, so I'm fine with that. So that's gonna go right in there. And here we have the mighty Bruticus. He's beautiful, isn't he? He's a little blurry. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Cleans up real nice on the back too. You know what I mean, dude? JGM, dude, just grilling, cooking, and killing, just doing great things in the space. Oh, the what is it? The Super Blaster. Hey, why is he all like standing crook? Hold up. Cool, the Super Blaster. So this is an independent blaster piece that can't be used with any other Combaticons. This is very specifically tailored to fit inside Bruticus's hand. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to take Swindle's blaster. We're going to flip that around so that it becomes the scope. We're going to take his missile, And we're going to plug it into the front so that becomes the tip of the pew pew. We're going to grab Onslaught's blaster and plug that into the back. This is the one from Brawl, and it has the most, it's the loosest. It doesn't quite stay in there as snugly as I would like. And then we have Vortex and Blastoff's individual bits plugging into the side. Same thing over here. Get that in there. Cool. And then from there, we can just pop that into Bruty's hand. And I think that's his name, actually. Like Steel Kitty Commander Bruty, or I don't know, some name that JGM gave him. And then from there, you can get the fingers to wrap around the blaster. And there you go. There you have it, dang nabbit. Nice, huh? Nice. You can kind of put him in some cool poses. Again, there's not a ton that you can do with the leg, but you can make it look a bit more dynamic if you're taking pictures for socials or videos or something like that, and put him in a pose like this. That's not too bad. Make him look like he's kind of like lunging forward, so to speak. That's not bad at all, right? I think it's a very, very nice piece. Yes, it's not perfect. I mean, no toy is. And I think I've called out some of the idiosyncrasies, if you will, some of the things that just kind of stood out to me that I feel like could be improved upon in their next outing, especially if they do a Defensor or, I don't know, just anyone else really, and take some cues. But yeah, these guys came out late 2024, and I'm referring to JGM. They did great things in 2025, and it looks like 2026 is really going to be their year, because they got this cat, they got a Abominus teased, Superion. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to do like an Omega Supreme, a Devastator, and like just the whole gamut, Menasor, like all of them, you know. And so, yeah, man, for me, for you, for JGM, and for TFSafari, the kind sponsor who sent me this toy, I just want to say thanks for joining me, and I appreciate your precious donation of time. I hope you feel like this time was well spent, and that you felt that it was entertaining and also educational. And yeah, if you like this type of video that I do, where I'm talking to you and not at you, feel free to subscribe and hang out and come back for more, and I will talk to you all another time, okay? Thank you for being here. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.